Hi, my name is Lars Hofstedt, and I'm looking forward to sharing the concept called digital product DNA with you and to explain how this is a blind angle for most companies today.
Depending on digital support for most of our physical products today. If Boeing, as a terrifying thought experiment, suddenly lost all digital data for the 747, it would be completely impossible to produce, sell, and service the aircraft. The 747 couldn't exist without the underlying data that's used to develop, market, deliver, and operate the planes. And this is not just valid for aircraft, but for most products that we develop, market, deliver, and operate today.
With this in mind, we look at three claims that are currently not embraced by most companies. First, you are a digital product company. Secondly, you need artificial intelligence. And finally, you need a strategy for your digital product DNA.
Looking at the way we develop products, we use many different systems ranging from computer-aided design and engineering solutions to product lifecycle management systems and often also many proprietary systems or even just old-timers like Excel. These tools are essential in defining the way we engineer and often determine the so-called super BOM or engineering BOM, containing all the parts and assemblies that a given version of a product may contain in any given configuration. We also use a host of systems to help us market our products. These systems help us determine their price, what version should be available in which markets, and at what time. We also use systems to ensure regulatory compliance and to enable different sales channels. Sales systems like Salesforce and Dynamics CRM are well-known examples in this category. Turning to the practical part of manufacturing and delivering physical products, we have to make sure that products are sourced, manufactured, assembled, shipped, and delivered. Large manufacturing companies typically use ERP systems like SAP and Oracle, but there is an abundance of ERP systems available on the market. And somewhere in the combined data sets across our different systems, we will find the combinatorial instructions used to develop, market, operate, and service our products. And this is what we call the digital product DNA, because it works much in the same way as biological DNA carries the genetic instructions that is used in growth, development, functioning, and reproduction of all known living organisms. This means that we model the digital product DNA, knowingly or not, with definitions spread out between PLM, CRM, ERP, CPQ, and many other systems.
Just like living organisms, products reproduce in two different ways: sexual or asexual reproduction. Products with asexual reproduction always creates an exact copy of themselves, and this means that the product DNA is really just a recipe for creating identical copies. Most products are probably asexual, standard, mass-produced products. Just think of food, furniture, clothes, medicine, everything around you.
Sexual products, however, do not become actual products before they are configured. What we could call the genes in the product DNA meet the genes of a specific requirement to produce a specific instance or configuration of the product. All the possible configurations of a sexual product is determined by their product DNA. Some products need to be configured before we can use them, such as many insurance policies, pumps, construction equipment, and cars that are customized before they're produced and delivered to the customer. We call this early configuration. Some products need to be customized or updated after the delivery to the customer. The Tesla is a recent example of a car that receives ongoing updates after it has been purchased. Wind turbines are configured to suit the exact location and electricity grid that they're in. And we all know how we can configure laptops and phones both with early configuration and particularly late configuration, adapting the equipment to our preferences, location, and service providers. In fact, any product with an integrated circuit is a potential candidate for late configuration. This also means that what we call the Internet of Things really is the Internet of configurable things.
Sexual reproduction share two fundamental but opposite equations. The first is the cost of having complex products, a product that needs to be configured. And we can write that equation as the fact that the cost of the complexity equals the risk of an error times the effort to mitigate that error.
The company runs a risk that the product ends up in an invalid or wrong configuration, and depending on the risk assessment, the company has to mitigate this risk by putting in place a sufficient number of checks and balances. This has a significant cost in terms of effort and time. Likewise, the buyer of the product has a similar cost equation. There is a risk of choosing a wrong configuration, and to mitigate this risk, the buyer has to put in an effort both during early and late configuration to get the desired value out of the product, thus saving time and money and reducing bumps for the user is a key focus for configurable products. The flip side of the cost consideration is what we could call the joy of choice. Configurable products allow the vendor to expose all possible solutions as options without having to produce the trillions of product variants for all possible combinations of choices. It's well documented that we are much more likely to buy if we are presented with choice. This psychological factor aside, configurable products also give you the promise of a product customized to your preferences, and that's simply by making choices that are relevant to your requirements.
So if your product uses sexual reproduction, you are in the business of digital product modeling. Today, digital product modeling is most of all considered a technical chore, and it is relegated to different departments and business functions to figure out how they can handle the cost of complexity or the joy of choice. This means that companies use any tools available in whatever ERP, CRM, PLM, CPQ system that they have in place without having the necessary understanding, skills, strategy, and platform to handle their digital product DNA. Hawkeye helps you with this information, highlighting the fundamentals you need to have in place to be a successful digital product modeling company and to pinpoint some of the pitfalls that you may encounter. In other presentations, I explain why you need artificial intelligence and why you need not just a product strategy, but a strategy for your digital product DNA. To learn more, please visit our webpage at www.hawkeye.com. And here you'll be able to find a description of our services, additional articles, and the section Learn More contains even more material and also the way to reach out and contact us. Thank you very much for listening.